Man, don't you appreciate this guy? I don't know, he's everybody say he's sneaky good. He's sneaky good. All right, I like that. He kind of, he may not, he may not be the excitable jumper, all that, but he's just consistent. He's sneaky good. Everybody say sneaky good. And you don't even realize it, but he's just leading you, and you just don't even realize. Everybody say sneaky good. Turn to the person next to you and say, neighbor, you're sneaky good. Okay, all right, okay. Somehow there's got to be something positive about that. Now say, neighbor, the Lord will never say to you, oh, no, not you again. Okay, I like that. That's such a true. Now say, neighbor, be happy. Forced joy is better than genuine depression. Okay, wouldn't you agree? I mean, isn't that right? Forced joy is better than genuine depression, all right? Let's say, neighbor, the Lord's not mad at you. The Lord's mad about you. Okay, I like that one. All right, okay. That's good. Listen, guys, I am so excited. Last night, thank you. I mean, you guys just have attacked me today on that message last night. And, it's just amazing, to see the responses. So I'm so thrilled about this because you're not here for me. I'm here for you. All right? That's the way I feel when I go to a nation. It's like, some people, when they come speak to your church, it's like it's for them. They want to sell books or all that type of stuff. You're just means their own end. But with me, I always try and make it's about you, okay? So we're here to equip you to do the work of your ministry. Amen. All right? That is so true. And through the years, that's been good. I've been over 100 countries, ministered in over 90 countries, 22 countries of Africa. There's a little bit of crazy in me, okay? So from being in Africa, okay? And India, that adds to it, okay? So welcome to my country tonight. I'm glad that you're here and all that, okay? American by birth, South African by culture. 45 times here. I mean, that's a lot of times. When I first came here in 1981, there were dinosaurs here. Okay, so they were in the church. No, never mind. I'm sorry. I just thought that. Okay. Last night we talked about the one thing you got to do, and you got to do what? Now. And in everybody's life, there is that one thing. And we use the idea of a log jam in a river. We were on the river today watching the crocodiles. Man, we had one zip right by us, off the land, and he turned around, started coming right at us, and went right by us. And I got it all on video, too. I came to show it to my granddaughter. My granddaughter, 8-year-old granddaughter, prayed Victoria for me. Her mom just sent me a text last night. She says, Victoria just prayed for you that lions and crocodiles wouldn't eat you up. In Africa, and bless him because he speaks a lot, and he's been speaking for a long time, is what she said. So I took that picture of the crocodile going, with me. So that's really fun. I'm going to send it to her, and that will freak her out, okay? I say, God answered your prayer, Victoria. But the one thing, and we use the idea of a river, and when there's a lot of water, you'll get these trees that fall down, and what do? They fall across the river, isn't that right? One log. And it creates what's called a log jam. And all these logs stack up against it. And I was telling you about my singles ministry days. For 8 years, I was a singles pastor. And all these people will come in, with all these problems. I listened to all these problems. I did 550 singles in my singles apartment. And one of the churches, 550 opportunities to grow. For me, okay? And I'm telling you, it was high maintenance, okay? Are you with me? And it was like it ended up to be like a marriage factory, man. I've got 30 different weddings I can do at any time, all these people getting married. But they come in with all of these problems, and I listened to this, and one day, the Lord just said, they don't have a lot of problems. They have one problem creating a lot of problems. And it's really true. If you move, we talked about not going at the little logs. Everybody wants to play with the little logs. The politicians love the little logs. The academics love the little logs. But Jesus, when he came along, there was this great big log in our lives called sin. Now, he could have done a lot of other things, but guess what he did? He did one thing. Are you with? For this purpose was the Son of God manifest, he might take away sin, destroy the works of the evil one. And for this purpose was the Son of God manifest for the sake of you, 1 Peter. So 3 reasons why he appeared. But one of that logs, the log in our life, is this thing called sin. And all kinds of things go along. That creates all kinds of other problems. So what did he do? He removed the one log. And when you remove the one thing in your life that's causing the problems, I'm telling you what, all the other problems just go on down the river with it. You may be amazed. And what we do, we love to play with the small logs. Like I say, do the small things, do everything but the one thing that really matters. The basic problems, we're doing nothing about the basic problem, all right? And so we talked about that whole idea of the one thing you got to do. Now, I'd like to show you a video in just a second here. And I want to just not say anything, but I'd like to, now, you guys that are prophetic in here, I'm going to put your prophetic to the ultimate test tonight. I want you to get sharp in the spirit. I want you to all get ready, because this is really going to be hard to tell. I mean, really, you're going to have insight from God to know what's wrong as we see this video with this. I mean, you're going to have to get your motor running so we can head out on the highway, all right? Because we're born to be wild, all right? So, not mild. A lot of you saying, born to be mild. No, it's born to be wild, okay? So, get all your prophetic. We're going to turn on this video. Let's just see it. And here we go. Let's go.
There's all this pressure, And sometimes it feels like it's right up on me. And I can just feel it, like literally feel it in my head. And it's relentless. And I don't know if it's going to stop. I mean, that's the thing that scares me the most, is that I don't know if it's ever going to stop.
Yeah. Well, you do have a nail in your head.
It is not about the nail.
Are you sure? Because, I'll bet if we got that out of there...
Stop trying to fix it.
No, I'm not trying to fix it. I'm just pointing out that maybe the nail is causing...
You always do this. You always try to fix things when what I really need is for you to just listen.
No, see, I don't think that is what you need. I think what you need is to get the nail
See, you're
out.
not even listening now.
Okay, fine. I will listen. Fine.
It's just... Sometimes it's like there's this achy... I don't know what it is. And I'm not sleeping very well at all. And all my sweaters are snagged. All of them.
That sounds really hard.
It is. Thank you. Ow!
Oh, come on. If you would just...
Don't...
Try to see things my way. Do I have to keep on talking till I can go on?
Okay. Turn the person next to you and say, I think he's talking about you. Okay, just. All right. Just turn to the person next to you and say, neighbor. Just reach up and pull it out. Okay, all right. See, we love to do that. We love to play that game. You see that lady? Oh man, I love that lady, and it's just brutally honest. And sometimes it's so obvious, everybody can see it, but I tell you, see, what's the problem with that lady? She doesn't recognize it. She cognizes it. She knows about it, but she doesn't recognize it. A few years ago, in the beginning of this venture, this message you're going to hear tonight, 2 years ago, I got this I was actually just doing all the morning stuff. I call them morning horribles, taking your shower and shaving and all that type of stuff. I hate that 30 minutes. It just drives me nuts. And I'm doing the horrible morning, but God showed up right in the middle of the horrible stuff you got to do every morning. And I heard this almost audible voice, and it was this exactly what I'm going to say. It was recognition. Not recognition. It was recognition. And I thought, isn't that interesting? Now, we use the word recognition and recognize and all those type of things, but what really is what is recognition and what is recognition? And I'll say recognition, it's cognition on steroids. Are you with me? It's not, it's seeing something. For cognition is knowing about it. You're aware of it, you're not aware, but you know about it. That's called knowledge. But when you move from cognition to recognition, you move, let's say, from cognition to revelation. From information to revelation. From knowing about, from knowing to understanding. Aha, it's the aha moment. You guys know the aha deal. Come on, 1, 2, 3. Aha, all right? So hit your head. Come on, 1, 2, 3. Aha. Recognition is when you get that aha moment. All of a sudden, you recognize. And the problem with the church today, we have all this cognition. We all have all this knowledge, but we don't apply it. Why don't we apply it? Because we don't understand it. We haven't had a revelation on it. We haven't had the illumination that creates revelation from information, so we can have transformation, which is going to require some perspiration. Oh, are you with me? Boy, you're right down in front again. I can't believe it, man. I just love this. Forgive me if I look right at you when I'm speaking, but I'm speaking to you, not at you. Okay, I just want you to know that. So this isn't for us. This is for me too. I mean, this came out of my experience. I don't like to speak about things. I like to speak from things. So I've been there, done that, got the T-shirt. All right. So the whole idea here, guys, tonight I want to look at a principle that rules the universe. What we're going to talk about tonight, really, there's no other principle that's higher in the whole spiritual realm. This is a kingdom principle in a practical way. And as we get into this space, we're going to make you aware of something that's going on. What I'm going to do is you already know. As a matter of fact, turn to the person next to you and say, neighbor. Neighbor. You're not going to learn anything new tonight. Just tell them that, okay? You're not going to learn. And see, because you already know this, but you don't know, you have cognition. But after tonight, now you're going to move from cognition to what? Recognition. Now, the question is from last night, why did Nehemiah, not just, many people cognized that the people in Jerusalem were trouble. I mean, you could have had all kinds of, they could have passed a university test at the University of Pretoria, whatever it's called there or whatever. And they could have passed that test, They could have graduated summa cum laude in knowledge that there was a problem in Jerusalem. They had knowledge, but no revelation. They had information, but no revelation. They had knowledge, but no understanding. They had truth, but they didn't have any light. See, what recognition is, what understanding is when God takes truth, my people perish for lack of knowledge, all right, so he gives us truth, but then he sheds, bang, he says, let there be light. And when he says, let there be light, aha! One of the things that we have, and I've been here for, many years, as I said before, one of the things that concerns me about this particular country is, to me, we can talk about all kinds of problems and all kinds of this and this, that, the other. But I want to talk about, just for a second, maybe this is prophetic. I'll get a little prophetic right here and then kind of bring us out into space and learning about the principle of recognition. I see it back there. But I believe that the elephant in the room, the thing that is so obvious here in this country, and you'll have to forgive me, but I've been here a few times, so I have a little bit of knowledge about all the cultures, is I think the big elephant in the room, the big thing that we cognize, we could preach sermons on it, we've preached sermons on it, we've told other people, we've done everything but take care of the one thing. We've thrown condoms at it. I mean, we've had people come in here from the United Nations and tell us what to do and all this, we've done everything. But the one thing, the main thing, what's the main thing? What's the one thing we got to do and we got to go do now in South Africa? And I can tell it to you, but you'll either cognize it or recognize it. That's kind of scary, isn't it? But it's just with a little bit of thing. Actually, I wrote a book on it, dedicated to South Africa. And I think that one thing we've got to do, because actually nobody trusts anybody. There's all these trust violations and trust impaired people, and nobody trusts them. They don't even trust themselves. But maybe the one thing we've got to do is this word: forgive. I mean, what was the one thing that Jesus came with? He came with forgiveness of sin. And I'm sorry to, just meddle here a little bit. And if I don't have any business here, please just shut me up. But I think, man, if we got just a little bit of forgiveness going here, and then move beyond forgiveness to trust. So you can't have trust without forgiveness. The first step to trust and mature love is forgiveness. And what I see is a media that educates everybody just provoking the sword. It's like this thing wants to heal, but they put the scab, some media person, some government person, some person from somewhere, on TV in the United States comes along and picks it open again, and it's bleeding again. They won't let it heal, and there'll always be a scar. I remember one time I set a couple national records and Camaros and so forth in my days, 427 Camaro, 327 Camaro, and NHRA and all of that. And I remember I was building the 427, and the motor fell over on me and it hit my hand right here. I still have a scar from it today. That's a heavy motor. Block is a little bit heavy, okay? You farmer guys know that, you ag guys and car guys. And so I still have a scar here, but you know what? It doesn't hurt anymore. But if I, for 30 years, kept picking at that thing, then it never, heal. So what I'm wondering is, you see, guys, I just want to approach this. I just want us to recognize this. I'm just kind of popping into the spirit here, right at the beginning here, and then we'll kind of bring it out into filling all the empty spaces. We can know about forgiveness till we're blue in the face. I could pass summa cum laude on a forgiveness test. Man, I could be a counselor, do everything, but when it came to forgiving this person or that race or these or whatever, we flunked the test. We flunked God's test. We passed the university test with flying colors. Hello? But we flunked God's test. And what I'm just wondering is if maybe world shakers, you want to know how to shake the world, shake this country? Is forgive. That was the one thing that Jesus did. And he brought is what? Forgiveness. He took out and it's so obvious. Because when nobody trusts anybody, then we have a problem. And but that comes from unforgiveness. And see, you know what I don't like unforgiveness, because what it does is when you won't forgive somebody, it's like you're handcuffing yourself to them. You realize for the rest of your life, you don't forgive them. You take them everywhere you go. If you don't like some white person, and you're a black person, or you're a black person, blah, 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 blah. We're to recognize no one according to the flesh any longer. Every time you won't forgive them, you know what you're doing? You recognize them according to the flesh. And then you become what you recognize. You become the flesh too. So then we have two fleshes trying to do a spirit thing. The flesh can only produce the flesh. So every time you're handcuffing yourself to them, and you're dragging them along. And I'll tell you what, I've looked around at a few of the Afrikaner farmers around here. That's a lot of weight you're carrying around. A proper boy. Okay, like it's just, and you know what the problem with that is? You aren't efficient. Because you're pulling your weight plus all their weight. And so what happens is, you realize the number one killer of countries is inefficiency. We were talking about this last night after the service. Here, and the guy said, one of the guys, I forgot where you were, he said, was it you? I said, man, here's the real here's the real message. We're back here in the back room, and that was the real message. You see, what happens is you become inefficient. Inefficiency creates, how do you say it? It's the number one killer of countries. If you're inefficient at farming, it'll get your farm. If you're inefficient in your relationship, it will kill that relationship. Everything Jesus came, when he came, he was efficient. He only did what the Father said. He followed that. They had healing campaigns, and then they'd take a rest. Activity doesn't mean that you're inefficient. It means you're storing up your batteries here. You spend a lot of energy, you're recharging your batteries so you can be efficient in the next thing you do, the next thing. And what you do is emotionally, you become inefficient. And you're an emotional clutter. And you know, you'll only prosper to the extent that your soul prospers. Here's the Holy Spirit, as big as this whole room right here. And your soul is the channel for the Holy Spirit to come into your soul. But if your soul is shut down because of unforgiveness and stuff like that, then guess what? You can have all of God trying to get in you. It's all up here, but it only can get through that big a space. So you get little trickles and you wonder, well, where's God? And I don't feel God. Where's the power of God? And, you know, all these things supposed to happen. No. Let's get your soul prospering so you can open up the channel so you can experience a lot more. Does that make sense to you? It's a matter of recognizing. Now, I know hard things have happened, and I know we're human beings, and it's amazing what we human beings can do. You know? But the trick is the flesh can only produce the flesh, but we're going to recognize no man according to the flesh, so we have to recognize him according to the Spirit. And so remember, guys, I'm just having you throwing this out. To me, you know, what keeps allowing all this demonic activity and all that, the elephant in the room is unforgiveness. Now, I could say that to many people. I'm not trying to pick on you or any people. We got it in America. We got, you know, this has nothing to do with, really. I'm just saying in this particular thing, I just want to, can I speak like us, if, you know, to just tonight? Because I just want to see you. You realize when you forgive somebody, you unhandcuff yourself from them. You realize you're free. You know what? Every time you forgive somebody, you know what you're doing? You're making a deposit for them in heaven. Think about it. You're opening an account for them in heaven. And see them as maybe where they are now, maybe they hurt you, but maybe it's time we start seeing them according to the Spirit, is Spirit-filled and forgiven, and even a Christian, and even in church, and even start seeing them as future church. Yes, they did this to you now, but let's see them according to the Spirit in the future. Let's open. Maybe your forgiving them is the very thing that opened up an account for them in heaven. God forgiving you, Jesus forgiving you. You know what that did? It opened up an account in heaven for you. I call it just opening up. Has anyone ever hurt you? Well, let's just get, you know, how do you say, the first step, the elephant in the room, the nail in the head is forgiveness. And I think it's with most people in any nation, actually. It's not a South African issue. I wrote a book called Learning How to Trust All Over Again. It's there in back, and I wish you would get that because it will just goes through all those issues and the relationship cycle and how to move through violation, conflicts, and all that back into forgiveness, to reconciliation, to trust, to mature love. And just go in the whole cycle. And I'm telling you what, you're going to be happy. I mean, many times we're attracted because we start at the attraction level. We're attracted to a church. We're attracted to a business. We're attracted to a career. We're attracted to a person. You know, we start out attraction. But you know what God wants us to do? He wants to move from attraction to mature love. I'm not talking about eros love. I'm talking about agape love. Loving it as God loved one another. And to do that, there always has to be a conflict. Blessed is he who's not, it's inevitable, stumbling blocks will come, but blessed is he who's not. So I just throw that out for you. That's free. And, okay, everybody free. Now, many people will cognize this and say, oh, no, we heard that message before, and but you don't know what happened. Why? But you know what? If you don't, you just stay into a why me stage. Move from why me to what's next. I don't want you dragging around big old African guys, big old, I've seen some of these African guys around here. They can get pretty big too. Are you with me? So I don't want you carrying around, lugging around all that. You aren't efficient, and inefficiency kills you. You know what? People say, oh, I died of cancer. My friend died of cancer. No, he didn't die of cancer. He died of inefficiency caused by the cancer. Hello? So inefficiency is something that this principle, what we were saying last night, the reason that Nehemiah could recognize this, are you with me, is he went by the principle of recognition. Many people knew there were problems in Jerusalem. One person did something about it. Why? Why? The question. Last night I gave you the what. Tonight's the why. So why did he? Because he operated by the principle of recognition. Does that make sense to you? All right, let's take a look at this, guys. This is fun. Sorry for to get serious on you right away, okay? You're going to recover? All right, I just wanted to just go right there. And it's, I would say it in any situation if the Lord said to say it. But in any event, here we go. The principle of recognition, and we'll have a little fun here. Here we go. Next image, please. All right, I like that graphic there. Now, and we went through this last year, and they came to Bethesda, and they brought a blind man to Jesus and implored Jesus to touch him. And taking the blind man by the hand, he brought him out of the village. And after spitting on his eyes, here, bro, let me just demonstrate that to you, okay? After spitting on his eyes and laying his hands on him, he asked him, do you see what? Anything. Look at this. And he looked up, and I see men, for I am them, seem like trees, walking around. Now, I want you to know, guys, this guy's much better off than he was, right? I mean, this guy couldn't see anything, but now he's seeing people like trees. And would you say that's an accurate definition of men? No, men don't have limbs growing out of the top of their head or bark for skin. Is that correct? So now he's seen, but he's seen enough to be dangerous. He doesn't see it clearly. He sees it's fuzzy. It's out of focus, if I could use last night's term. And so here he has he's seen, which is awesome, but he doesn't see it for what it really is. He has an inaccurate definition of people and of man, okay? So what does Jesus do? Watch it. Now he had cognition. But now watch the next step. Look at this. And then again, Jesus laid his hand on his eyes, and the man looked intently and was restored, and he began to see what? Everything. I can see clearly now, the Lord has come. He began to sing that Johnny Nash song. I just love it. Okay, see, now watch this. Jesus didn't like unsatisfied customers. So he prayed for him again. If you ever have to pay for somebody twice in healing, that's okay. Even Jesus had to do that, okay? And you see, it's the second touch that got him to where he was. And I believe this cognition is the first step, and then recognition is when you began to see everything clearly. Cognition is God open the eyes of your mind. Recognition is God open the eyes of your heart. And once it gets there, it goes right to your feet. Moves from the head to the heart to the feet, from knowing to being to doing, from information to understanding to wisdom. Wisdom's the proper application of knowledge through understanding. Guys, this is so powerful. Head, heart, feet. So look at this. This is the recognition is when you see it clearly. Remember when the guys were walking with Jesus and they didn't recognize him. And then all of a sudden, boom, they began to recognize him, began to see him clearly, and then he disappeared from their eyes. So they got the second touch. Now, what they say, were not our hearts burning? Open the eyes of your... You realize your heart has eyes? Doctor, that might be a tough one on you a little bit, okay? think that one, but in the spiritual realm. Now watch this next one, please. So let's talk about what did Nehemiah had. Oh Lord, send thy light and send thy truth. Let them lead me. Now look, guys, so we went through this last year with the swords and so forth a little bit. We had truth, but we also had to have what? Light. Truth is cognition. Light is recognition. When you get those two things going on, kaboom, truth and light, let there be light. And forgiveness, I mentioned a thing there. It's in darkness until God says, let there be what? Light. In Nehemiah's life, here he was, and he knew about a problem. All of a sudden, God says to him, let there be light. And when there was light, then there was conviction, there was passion, and he did something about it. Next one, please. Here we go. I like this. All right, next one. Let's do the next one. Okay, everybody, look at this. Well, we could say here, by wisdom the house is built, by understanding established, and by knowledge the rooms are filled with precious, pleasant riches. Look at this, guys. It's a three-legged stool of knowledge, understanding, and what? Wisdom. But what does God build his house on? Wisdom. You can't have wisdom without let there be light. What is the wisdom? What the light upon what? The information. And I think this is really powerful. So this whole building is like wisdom, and the rooms in the building, according to that scripture, is understanding, and knowledge is just this chair, the pleasant dainties, the furniture in the place. And what we've done is build the church on knowledge. Wrong tree. Wrong tree. That tree will get you every time. I mean, Satan promised Eve wisdom, but gave her knowledge. Bad trade. So you can't have wisdom without let there be light. All right? So next one. Look at this. And when that happens, everybody say it with me. Shift happens. Be careful how you say that. This is a church. Okay, come on. Say it with me. 1, 2, 3. Shift happens. Okay. All right. I'm watching you. Okay. So I just thought I'd throw that out. So here we go. Watch this. I like this guy. This guy has epiphany here. Every morning in Africa, the gazelle awakes. It knows it must run faster than the fastest cheetah, it will be killed. Every morning a cheetah wakes. It knows it must outrun the slowest gazelle, it will starve to death. It doesn't matter whether you're the cheetah or gazelle. When the sun comes up, you better be running. In South Africa, and that's true. Okay, next one, please. That's the truth and light, all right? Now, here's the principle recognition, guys. Watch this. Whatever you don't recognize, you don't what? Appreciate. Whatever you don't appreciate, you don't what? Celebrate. Whatever you don't celebrate may eventually exit your life. Well, let me say that again. Whatever you don't not cognize. This is when God says, let there be light, and you don't recognize. Whatever you don't recognize, you don't appreciate. Whatever you don't appreciate, you don't celebrate. Whatever you don't celebrate may eventually exit your life. All right? So many people are like, I'd seldom seen an opportunity until it had ceased to be one. And you know what? Why? Exited your life. Whatever you don't appreciate, whatever you don't see it, you don't celebrate, whatever you don't celebrate may eventually exit your life. You could also ask whoever to this principle. And so this is very important. So in the farming community and in growing things and all that in animals, you got to be able to what? Recognize stuff. And so you got to, whatever you don't recognize, you don't appreciate, whatever you don't appreciate, you don't celebrate, whatever you don't celebrate may eventually exit your life. And so God shows up to Nehemiah, and he just doesn't give him knowledge. He gives him a revelation. Don't say revelation. I hate that. It's a what? A revelation. He revealed it to him. Nobody else. He probably showed it to other people, but they didn't catch it. They had knowledge of it, but they didn't have what? A revelation. Forgiveness. All people, all kinds of stuff have. But they had knowledge, but not a. I'm so glad Jesus didn't come down with knowledge. He came down with a revelation of it. Now watch this. Next one, please. Let's go on into this. Look at this. Here's what I'm concerned, guys. There could be something in our lives that we're not seeing, and it could be costing us dearly. Nehemiah, if he would have skipped this moment and just been like everybody else, guess what? It would have cost him dearly. It would have cost Israel. You see, if he doesn't get a revelation, then everybody else, it affects not just himself, it affects all the people in Jerusalem. You see, a revelation that God gives to us is not just for us, it's for others also. And that's what we have to see. There's a certain responsibility that comes with revelation. So there's something we're not seeing in our life today, and it could be costing us dearly. It's the nail in the head. Next one, please. Watch this. So here we go. Let's get some insights into this principle. The Pharisees did not recognize the divinity of Jesus. It cost them eternity, miracles, and the joy of his presence. Jesus wept over it. He saw the city and wept over it, saying, if you had known in this day, even you, the things which make for peace, but now they have been what? What's that say? See, they didn't recognize him, and it cost them dearly, and now it's left them. It's been hidden from your, whatever you don't recognize, you don't appreciate, whatever you appreciate, you don't celebrate, whatever, may eventually exit your life. He saw the city and wept over it. If you had known in this day, even you, and that known is to be, know, the word skio, know by experience, to know by revelation. In this day, even you, the things which make for peace, but now they have been hidden from your eyes, for the day shall come upon you when your enemies surround you, and they will not leave in you one stone upon another, because you did not what? Recognize the time of your, everything has a season. There's a time of visitation. It's important that we're sharp in the spirit. I know that's in these two wonderful people's hearts right here. That's all they've been trying to do, is get you to this point to recognize when it's your turn, your time, your situation, because it will go from everybody in this, for everybody here, God's will respect a person, everybody here will have their time, their day of moment, their revelation, and you got to be ready for it, and you got to be aware of this principle, because that the whole spiritual realm works on this. This is let there be light, all right? Jesus is the light of the world. Look at that. So, number one, the Pharisees did not recognize it. It cost them eternity. Next one, please. Wow. Number two, spiritual people do not always cooperate with the principle of recognition. Jesus saw it in his own disciples. Having eyes, see ye not, and having ears, hear ye not, and do you not remember? You see, like I said, you can see something but not see it. So are you seeing him according to the flesh, or are you seeing him according to the Spirit? You can see something but not see it. You can know something but not know it. You can hear something but not hear it. Wives, would you agree with me about your husband about that? Okay, so never sorry, okay. All right, okay. Having eyes see not, my wife would, and do not remember, all right? Number three, watch this. This is so good, guys. The principle of recognition can turn a lifetime of failure into success. An excellent example is one of the thieves hanging next to Jesus at the crucifixion. At the first, who did not recognize Jesus, the Son of God, cursed and was lost for eternity, but the second recognized the Christ, begged for forgiveness, and received it. Two people same background, same country, same culture, same reason for being there. It wasn't they were from different cultures, or one had the advantage, and one lived in America, and one lived in Africa. It wasn't same people, same country, same everything, there for the same reason. Right next to it, one looked at it and had a different outcome than the other. That same opportunity was there for both. One went by the principle of cognition. The other went by the principle of recognition. See, that's the spiritual realm, guys. That's the eyes of the Spirit. Look at this, man. So 2 people. Next one, please. This is so good. Number 4, the principle of recognition activates the laws of preservation and promotion in your life. David recognized the anointing on King Saul and received the kingship himself. However, King Saul refused to recognize the anointing on David, and he what? Whatever you don't recognize, you don't appreciate. Whatever you don't appreciate, you don't celebrate. Whatever you don't celebrate may eventually exit your life. Ooh, you starting to get it? All right, I feel like momentum's starting to happen here, all right? I've been doing a lot of, new territory, a little different stuff's kind of here, whatever, getting you. Are you enjoying it, though? All right, see, last night was the salad. Tonight's the budukos. Okay, that's all right, you with me? So I've just got you, we got the salad done. See, last night we looked at what? Tonight we're looking at the story behind the story, the why. Why did Nehemiah see it when others didn't? Because of the principle of, he even got his name in the Bible for it. I mean, just think of it. He wouldn't win by the principle of recognition. He wouldn't be Pastor Davi's favorite book. Are you with me? He would have lost that opportunity. Wow. David refused. How many people have fallen into that one and seen that one work? Really? Watch this. Here we go. Number 5. Watch this. Here we go. The principle of recognition can move you from obscurity to significance within 24 hours. Zacchaeus, the evil tax collector, recognized that Jesus was the Messiah. Jesus responded to that respect by having a meal in his house and changed his life forever. He got his name in the Bible because of the principle of recognition. Lots of tax gatherers on this day. You only remember a couple of them. Hello? And this is why Jesus came as the light of the world. And see, guys, this light is so important. This whole thing of light, I can't express to you. A lot of people, this whole thing, they look at God as, he's Jehovah Jireh, and Jehovah Nisi and Jehovah Rohi and all these Jehovah Java, sorry, that's Starbucks, okay. Jehovah Jireh, all these Jehovahs. But you know what? That's not who God is. That's what he does. We're always stuck on what he does rather than who he is. The whole charismatic church is what he does because it can help me. But they forget the essence of God. What he does becomes who he is to them. And they miss God right in the middle. You know who God is? I am who I am. And God says that, summarize that. 1 John summarized that. God is 3 things. God is light, God is love, and God is spirit. He says it, period. God is. God is. God is. God is love, is God. God so loved the world. God is light, is Jesus. And God is spirit, is the Holy. That's who he is, not what he does. Forget what he does. You don't want to love him for what he does. You want to love him for who he is. I mean, the whole idea is to know God and make him known. So this is really kind of powerful here. So look at this guy. He saw many other tax gatherers in the day, but here's Zacchaeus. I mean, it just changed his life because of the principle of recognition. Next one, please. Are you enjoying this tonight? Wow. Now look at this. I call these recognition stoppers and revelation busters. Number 1, why do we miss things? Why can't, Ed, tell me how this works. Why do I miss it? Well, number 1, we're clueless. We've never heard a message like this. We kind of know this, but now we really know it, okay? But look at this. We're clueless in Seattle, or sleepless or something, okay, all right? So we're clueless or being unaware. We're unaware of this. It becomes an awareness issue. And look at this. This is an interesting story here. Apostles have three things they're looking for: faith, hope, and love. That's the trinity of stuff for apostles, you know. So he comes in the church at Ephesus, which is going to be the prototype church for the rest of history. The church started in Jerusalem, but it was too provincial. That moved to Antioch. Antioch went out into the world, but didn't do anything in their city. Then it moved to Ephesus, that did stuff in both their city and the world, all right? They were world shakers and also city shakers. And they were the prototype church for the rest of history. There's no major church after that. So here we go. And so he's coming in. This is very crucial for setting the plumb line here. So Paul comes in and he says to them, I've heard of the faith in the Lord Jesus which exists among you. I mean, here we go. So they got the first one. They got the first of the big three. They got faith. Paul says, I'm giving you A+ on faith. All right? Faith. You don't just know about love. You're loving. You don't have information. You have what? Revelation. I'm giving you A+ there. And then I've also heard about the love that you have for the saints. He said, I'm giving you A+. You don't have, you recognize faith, you recognize faith, you recognize love, but there's something that's worrying me. Something's missing here. And the problem was they were cognizing the hope of their calling rather than recognizing the hope of their calling. Watch what he prays for. His radar just senses that these guys aren't excited about their hope. They don't understand why they are. They're the way they are because of why they are, and they got to understand why they are. They need, look at what he prays for, love for all the saints, and do not cease giving thanks for all of you while making mention of you in my prayers. Here comes an apostolic prayer. And what's the apostolic prayer, Madeleine? Watch this. Madeleine? Madeleine? I got to say it about my Madeleine. Okay. The Lord Jesus, the Father of glory, may give to you a spirit of what? Wisdom and of what? No. Revelation. Come on. Revelation, okay? In the knowledge of him, I pray that the eyes of your heart might be what? Enlightened. See, let there be light. You don't have a light. You got light, you got truth and light on the love, and you got truth and life on the faith, but I need to have truth and light. I don't want you to just know about it. I want you to know it. What happened to Paul in his conversion? Here he is. He's going to arrest some Christians and all this stuff. He's on a horse. God knocks him off his horse. He falls to the ground. There's voices all around, but nobody can understand him except him. And what's happening next to him is popping with light. Pipe, pop, 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 pop. He had truth and light. What's his response? Who art thou, Lord? The Spirit always says, Jesus is Lord. You see what happened to him? All of a sudden, he went from Jesus as that bad guy to Jesus as Lord. How did it come? Truth and light. So powerful. So look at this. Clueless. We're unaware of this. And so he starts to pray. He brings in that which is lacking in them. This church, you need to know about faith, hope, and love of this, the hope of your calling. You're the Ephesian church. You're going to be the model church for the rest of history. And you need to wake up, shake up, put on your makeup. Look at this next one, guys. Revelation busters. Here we come with this one. Familiarity and the indifference issue. Familiarity breeds contempt and doubt. Only one leper and one widow recognized God at work because God was all over the place in those days. Look at this. Jesus couldn't do but a few miracles. They were, is this not the carpenter's son? Hello? And we become too familiar people. I think sometimes we become too familiar with people in here. We don't see we start to see them rather than the Lord in them. Oh, this is just the pastor. I've heard him say that. No. Recognize no man according to the... Hello? So familiarity. Look at this next one. So we're unaware, we get too familiar, and then some people are just intentionally rebellious, sarcastic, and they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor, except in his hometown, his own household. And he did not do many miracles there because of their, whatever you don't recognize, you don't appreciate. Whatever you don't appreciate, you don't celebrate. Whatever you don't celebrate may eventually exit your life. You know, Nehemiah had that space there, that time of visitation, for it to do something about Jerusalem, okay? And so he had to recognize it, and that's what made the difference. That's why he did what he did, because he, how do you say it? Recognized it, appreciated it, and celebrated, all right? And went and did it. And we have all this stuff is opportunities for us. And it was just, I've learned to take to take opportunities, to be looking for those types of things where there's pop, there's not just truth, but there's light. A few years ago, Becky and I were, in 2005, we were at the beginning of a big land boom in America. I mean, all of a sudden it was the land boom, you know, and I looked at Becky and I said, you know, I think the Lord's speaking to me. I said, you know, Becky, we have a choice here. We can either participate in this land boom, or we can ask 4 years from now, why didn't we do that? Are you with me? And so we both decided, let's jump on this boat, because it's going to be, we got this amazing opportunity here. So we just got a loan on our house or whatever, one of those free interest, no interest loans or whatever that the government so nicely gave us, and so forth. And you know, I mean, it drove me crazy. In 1 year, I'm overseas with you guys. You know, I'm ministering all over the world. And I'm just doing land as a hobby, flipping raw land, just flipping raw land. And it was so hot. It was so hot that everything would sell the moment you get it. And I had a saying, buy low, sell low. Because my customers were going to be Christians, and I wanted them to make money on it. I was going to make some, but I sold it low so that they could make money on it. Are you with me? And many did, not all. I had one guy that, you know, it's the same. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Are you with me? I told him, now, listen, when you price it, don't try and make $1 zillion profit. You know, dude, just add $30,000, $40,000 onto it and sell it. You know, get rid of it, flip it. You know, just get out of here. You know, and to him, this was going to be the big deal. I begged his title company, don't do it. He can't handle this. If that thing goes south, he's going to get mad at me. In any event, he did it anyway, and it went south and all that stuff, you know, so it's a long story. So, but the reason is he could have sold it 100 times if he wasn't a pig or a hog. Just be a pig rather than a hog, okay? Everybody say pig. Neighbor, be a pig. All right, not a hog, okay? Not a hog. See, we made over $1 million in profit. 1 year, I had to pay $177,000 to the United States government in taxes. I had to go see a counselor after that, you know, but let's look at the positive side. Are you with me? I mean, we had still over $800,000 left. Dude, I found Nemo. Are you with me? It's because I recognized something. Hello? And I can give you lots of stories where I thought that I saw something and it wasn't something. You know, I can tell you those stories too. So not everything is happy. It's a learning curve. But it taught me a lesson on when to get in and when to get out. There's such a time as this and such a time as that. It's an opportunity. But guys, I'm telling you, this changes everything when you start operating by this thing. Next one, please. Here we go. So how then, here's some practical things, guys, that we can say here. Look at this, recognizing your husband or your wife. Does that make sense? I think, what is a divorce? A divorce is two people who recognized one another, and then over a period of 10 or 20 years, move from recognizing one another back to cognizing one another. That's all a divorce is. So you got to be able to recognize, love, honor, all those types of things, you know, for all the reasons that we've said. Look at that. You know, I said some of those reasons last night. When the queen is happy, there's peace in the kingdom. Okay? You know, all those types of sayings, you know. So look at this next one, please. Learning to honor, to recognize our spouse and so forth. Remember anniversaries, okay? Stuff like that. I learned that one the hard way. Okay, so that wasn't revelation, that was experience. All right, so friends, there is a friends who live, who, have to be close to brother. When you get a real friend, you honor those guys because they don't come very often in your life. I can tell you that. Next one, employees, employers, and careers, all right? Respecting, learning to respect. Employees need to honor their employers sometime. Employers, man, I was an employer. I had 43 employees in my bookbindery business. And that's a real problem because you're standing in the middle between the customer and your employees, both of which who hate you. I'm just kidding, okay, they like you. But learning to do that, just honor your employees and honor your employers and so forth. Wouldn't that be great? That just changes everything. Just making that, recognizing that this is an important issue, is honoring them. Children, why do you honor your children? They're going to carry on after you're carried off. Okay, so you might as well just bless them on your way out, okay? That type of thing, honoring that, recognizing that. Next one, please. Look at this, honoring your country or city. Now, that's the hard one. Everybody hates that honor government thing. And I want you to know, guys, I am in 20 countries every year, and I want you to know everybody in the world hates their government. So don't feel bad, okay? You have good company, okay? Are you with me? So right now there's a lot of disrest and so forth, and just like there was in Peter's time. And so Peter comes along with really horrible, you think we have it tough. You should have been under their tyrannical government, okay? But he still says, look, praise them. Recognize that they play a role. Government is of God. So pray for your government, and so forth. You can pray it'll change. You can pray it'll whatever, but just pray for them. Church and people in the church, let love of the brethren continue. Let honor one another. Recognize one another. Say, man, I'm glad you're here sometime. I love it. And everybody just moving across the aisle. Next one on that one. Church leaders and counselors. Sometime they're worthy of a double honor, guys. All right? So esteem them and so forth. Next one, please. There we go. Honoring ethnic groups and diverse groups. You don't understand. Guys, our differences don't go away, but our hostilities can. And if we will get back to that forgiveness thing, that nail in the room. I know it's hard. I know you might want to do it. And you know what? If it's hard, that's great. God says, oh, good. Oh, good. Your flesh doesn't want to do it. Oh, good. Now we can have you do it by the Spirit. See, if it's flesh-based, it's a race because it's not grace. You can't do it in the power of your flesh. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Ethnic groups, your giftedness. Don't try and be someone else, man. Don't try and be a prophet if you're a mercy person. All right? Don't try and be a this if you're supposed to be a that. Find your lane and drive fast, baby. Are you with me? Yeah. Because if you run over anybody, they were in your lane, okay? But if you were in somebody else's lane, guess what? All right, you're going to get the traffic ticket. See, whatever you are, wherever you are, be all there. Be who you were created to be. Find your lane. Everybody say, find your lane. Come on, 1, 2, 3. Find your lane. Then drive fast. I just like that, all right? Just South Africa. Your gift, it's Romans 1, honoring and thanking God. Next one. There's other opportunities, spiritual opportunities, relationship, marketplace opportunities. Farmers exist because they recognize when markets are up, when this country is to be better, when this place is to be better, when we harvested 2 weeks earlier than last year because of this. And see, you're operating by the principle of recognition now, many of you. Bring it into your whole life, not just your field's life. Okay? Next one, please. Look at this. I like this. Let's close up here, guys. Are you enjoying this tonight? You see, this is why Nehemiah did what he did. This was the it factor, that he could grab on what others missed. Some of the greatest, here's my concern, some of the greatest gifts in your life may have not yet been reconciled. I believe that. All of you, I believe that. I believe you're all still under construction. But God's getting you ready for what he has ready for you. Okay? So look at this. Next one, please. God probably has put something close to you that you are not seeing. That's what makes God so interesting, this walk so interesting. There's something ahead, and our job is to walk by the Spirit and walk in the light as he is in the light, and then we begin to unfold and discover these things. Next one, please. Failure to recognize the gift, the person, the miracle, the circumstance, the situation, or provision could be costing you incredibly. Next one. Anything unrecognized remains uncelebrated by you. Next one, please. Quality of life and better life require recognition and awareness. Focus on awareness. Anything you refuse to celebrate, whether it's intentional, clueless, or familiar, may eventually exit your life. Next one, please. Wow. Awareness and humility unleash this principle to work for you. The principle of recognition will work for the poor, Ruth with Boaz. It'll work for the sick, the blind man who cried out to Jesus. It'll work for the woman at the well. It worked for religious Nicodemus. And it will work for what? You. I like that. Next one, please. Here we go. It's not what you look at that matters. It's what you see that matters. Peter stepped out of a boat filled with fear into a sea or an ocean of possibility. Why? He recognized someone. All of us live under the same sky, but not all of us see the same horizon. If you want to see the light, you will need to make the effort to flip the switch, baby. Next one, please. Look at this one. The best way to make your dreams come true is to, everybody say, wake up, shake up, put on your makeup. All right, just wake up. Turn to the person next to you, hit him on the head and go, wake up. Okay. Wake up. See, it's so true. I mean, Davi is giving you this every week. He's trying to get you to wake up, shake up, put on your makeup, and this whole realm up here too. You have your living side of life, your job and all that, but there's also this huge spiritual life that it's just waiting to be uncovered, discovered, and recovered. All right, look at this. We rarely see what we are not looking for. Some see the light by revelations. Others see the light when they open the refrigerator door in the middle of the night. Sometimes I do both. Okay, I do both. Okay, I just want you to know that. Last one, please. Have a dynamic life. Now, what's the principle of recognition? Say it again. 1, 2, 3. Whatever you don't recognize, you don't appreciate. Whatever you don't appreciate, you don't celebrate. Whatever you don't celebrate may eventually exit your life. Wow. You see, it's not what you look at that matters. It's what you see that matters. Think of applying this in your life, guys, and just like my life and that investment opportunity, you know, it cost us nothing and made us everything. It kind of set us up for where we are now to where we have a little comfort and stuff like that in 1 year. Next year, I had to pay $55,000. We didn't do as well next year, but still quite a lot of money. And the thing was that I wanted to do it for others too. I bought low, sell low, so that others can make some too. Just did a little pastoral strategy there, you know. I didn't buy low and sell high. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Okay, I just want you to know that, okay? Have a dynamic life, guys, as you go. This is why, last statement, this is why Nehemiah did what he did. This is why he went after the one thing you got to do now. Yesterday was an opportunity. You got a great principle. One thing you got to do, and you got to do now. But you got to be able to not cognize it, but to what? Recognize it. All right? 20 people in here will grab this. They'll recognize it. The rest will just stay the same. They'll have the knowledge, Man, that was a good message last night. That was so good, Ed. You know, you know what everything's in me is screaming out? Did you do it? Are you going to do it? Isn't that cool? So guys, thank you so much and for letting me share with you these last 2 days. I hope it was good for you and so forth. I do want to remind you of these books. This is what I was talking about before, Learning How to Trust all over again. Dedicated to South Africa, goes through all trust issues. If you're struggling, if you're trust impaired, struggling with trust, then this is a great book for you. I would encourage you to get it. It's 170 Rand. It's endorsed by some of the greatest Christian counselors in America, and also I think Berger, different people from South Africa, 3 or 4 different people did that. Last year we talked about this book, Redefining Rhema. And you remember that I had the swords up here, and Jesus was managing toxic temptations and precarious predicaments and all of that. And if you didn't get one of these books, please get it. 170. This book, I think I may have had a few. The 5-Minute Miracle, 100 ideas on how to stand out by becoming outstanding. And it's just loaded. Everybody loves it. It's in Korean. These are some of these books, the trust books in Spanish, different things. But this one's in Korean. I can't wait to see the Korean version of it, okay? But Standing Out by Becoming Outstanding, great book. Great book to give to a friend as a gift, too. People Who Overcome, Turning Temporary Crisis into a Permanent Gift. Small book. I wrote it small because people in crisis don't read big books. Are you with me? So it just says everything right and to the point. Great little book of encouragement and hope and inspiration. All right, some great stories in there too. This one's called Amazingly Grace, Seeing Yourself the Way God Sees You. If you're struggling with self-image issues, you feel lower than a snake's belly, and those type of thing, and you need some work there. It's a great book. It'll just give you some pointers and get you on your way, I hope, to recovery, okay? Again, another small book, and just on a very important subject. You don't know who you are until you know whose you are. All right, so Led to Lead, there's a leader inside of you who's dying to lead others through you. This is the heart and art of leadership. It's a great book, especially for just people in everyday life. The small books are all written for people like us right in here. And they aren't for the spiritual giraffes. They're meant for regular old-fashioned people. And just a great little leadership book. You can take it everywhere you go with it. Last one is City Changers, when the saints go marching out. That's what hopefully we're going to do next year, or whenever we get back, whatever. We're going to do some building in the church, and this is fun. Now you're in my church and community book, and now it's just going to go crazy, okay? So there you go, City Changers. So please go get those books. I do have a flash drive, too, and you can take a look. That's 400. It's got 4 of my books in it, and videos and Word docs and all that stuff on community transformation, how to become a church for the community, if anybody's interested in that, okay? So thank you very much for letting me share with you. Did you enjoy tonight? Amen. You guys were quiet, but it was a good quiet. Yeah. Okay, it was a good quiet, all right? So, Davi, I'll give it to you.